Hi there, my name's Felicity and I'm 37 years old. Let me tell you all about an experience I had and how I dealt with it swiftly because I'm not the type of person to get played. Unlike most of the stories I come across on this place, I actually had a decent relationship with my mother-in-law before things came crashing down. Yep, shocking, I know. Things were always great between us. Our relationship was as smooth as silk. Our relationship was filled with warmth, affection, and mutual respect. And as for my husband, Frank, well, he was the love of my life, my partner in crime, and my best friend. Everything appeared to be picture perfect in my eyes, at least. And this isn't me being a delusional or missing any red flags. Sure, we'd have our arguments here and there like any other normal family, but in the end, all was well. And there was no indication that there was an issue of any kind. So I'm sure you can imagine just how shocked I was when this crazy story took place. Maybe someone can help me decipher what exactly the problem was, because to this day, I truly don't know. Let me tell you what went down and why I decided to take revenge on my husband and my mother-in-law for the stunt they pulled on me. You see, I had planned something special for our family. It was originally meant to be a vacation for me and my husband, but I thought about Tiana and how she'd been widowed for quite some time now, 4 years, and how lonely she must have been. I said, why not? And decided to include her in the vacation plans. This would be a trip that I mainly sponsored, with me covering the accommodation, meals and activities, and my husband and Tiana paying for whatever else they saw fit. But essentially, I was covering everything. I wanted to treat Tiana and Frank to a once-in-a-lifetime vacation in Spain. Oh, the thought of strolling through the vibrant streets of Barcelona, indulging in mouth-watering tapas, and basking in the Mediterranean sunshine filled my heart with joy. I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity to create lasting memories and deepen the bond between us. And when I presented them with the idea, they thought so too. I meticulously planned every detail of the trip, from the charming boutique hotel overlooking the stunning coastline to the exhilarating flamenco dance performance we would attend together. The excitement was palpable, and I couldn't wait to surprise Tiana and Frank with this grand adventure. Little did I know that the events that awaited me would shake the very foundation of my trust and shatter the illusion of our perfect little bubble. I was about to embark on a journey that would forever change my perception of family, loyalty, and the depths of human deception. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, my dear readers. Allow me to take you back to that fateful day, the day our dreams of Spain were still brimming with hope and promise. I stood in the living room, clutching the plane tickets tightly in my hands, a smile stretching across my face. Frank, Tiana, gather round. I have a surprise for both of you. They exchanged puzzled glances, curiosity etched on their faces. Tiana, with her wise eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom, tilted her head ever so slightly. What's all this excitement about, my dear? With a flourish, I revealed the tickets and shared my plans for the Spanish adventure that awaited us. I watched their expressions closely, hoping to see joy and gratitude reflected in their eyes. Frank's face lit up, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. Felicity, you truly are something else. I can't wait for this incredible trip. Tiana, on the other hand, wore a softer smile, her gaze meeting mine. Oh, my sweet Felicity, you've truly outdone yourself. This is a gift beyond measure. I'm deeply touched. At that moment, my heart swelled with pride and contentment. Their reactions validated the love and effort I had poured into this surprise. I had thought that this vacation would be the glue that bound us even tighter, that it would create unforgettable memories and strengthen the ties that already seemed unbreakable. But, as you might have already suspected, this tale takes a treacherous turn. Beneath the surface of our seemingly idyllic relationship, an intricate net of deceit and betrayal lay in wait, ready to ensnare us all. And when the truth unraveled, it would test the limits of forgiveness and challenge the very essence of family bonds. As planned, we boarded a plane and set off for our 2-week adventure. The anticipation was palpable as we immersed ourselves in the vibrant streets and rich tapestry of Spanish culture. For the first week, everything seemed to be going according to plan. We savored the flavors of paella, wandering through historic landmarks, and danced the night away to the infectious rhythms of flamenco. Laughter and joy filled the air, and I basked in the belief that our bond was unbreakable. However, little did I know that a storm was brewing on the horizon, waiting to unleash its fury upon my unsuspecting heart. It was on a fateful Monday morning, and as the sun bathed the city in its golden hues, that I woke up to find an empty hotel room. Confusion and a growing sense of unease gripped my heart. Frantically, I reached for the phone, dialing both my husband's and Tiana's numbers, hoping for an explanation. I mean, it was crazy. They just poofed into thin air. But to my dismay, their phones remained silent, their voices absent. Fear began to claw at the edges of my mind as I searched for the empty room for any sign of their presence. There were no notes, no bags, no traces of disturbances or struggle, just an unsettling silence that hung heavy in the air. It looked like I had booked this family unit all to myself. As the minutes turned into an eternity, questions flooded my mind. Had they lost their way? Had they been taken against their will? But the absence of any evidence ruled out these possibilities. A chill ran down my spine as I reluctantly accepted the truth. I was left alone in a foreign land. Just as despair threatened to consume me, a glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness. My phone buzzed, signaling an incoming call. It was Tiana. Relief washed over me, mingled with confusion and a deep sense of hurt. How could she leave without a word? With trepidation, I answered the call, my voice filled with a mix of concern and disbelief. Tiana, where are you? What happened? Tiana's voice, tinged with a strange mix of resignation and frustration, reached my ears, but she didn't sound like the same old sweet lady that I always loved. No, her voice sounded a bit colder. Felicity, I thought that I should at least call you back since you were blowing up my phone with your incessant calls. Oh, I'm sorry for disturbing you. I was just wondering where you two went. Your bags aren't here. I was just concerned that something bad had happened. Then she said these next words with so much indifference that they shook me to the core. We left you. But why? What happened? I'm sorry, I couldn't bear to spend another week in your company, so I had to leave. What are you talking about? Did I do something wrong? Yes, I mean, how could you be so dense? Dense? Excuse me? You sprung up this trip on me, practically forcing me to go with you, and I just couldn't remain disingenuous any longer. Let me spell it out clearly for you, Felicity. I don't enjoy your company. Sure, we can spend a couple of hours together at a family event, but 2 weeks? I tried to be civil and grace you with my presence for as long as I could, and it turns out that I could only muster 1 week with you before I lost my mind. I'm sorry, but I'm on the way to the airport with Frank right now. We can't be around you any longer. Shock reverberated through my core. The revelation struck me like a bolt of lightning, unraveling the threads of trust I had so naively woven. How could our bond, seemingly unbreakable, crumble beneath the weight of unspoken grievances? Questions flooded my mind as I grappled with this harsh reality. What had I done wrong? What exactly did I do to deserve such harshness? How did things escalate to this point? Was there no chance for reconciliation? Confusion and heartache intertwined within me, the pain of betrayal seeping deep into my soul. Well, I didn't know that you felt this way, Tiana, honestly. And you had no reason to. I always led you to assume that things were fine and dandy between us. Then why not bring that up? Why not sit me down so that we could hash out whatever problem there was between us? Because if I'm being honest, I still don't know what I've done to wrong you. Well, that's the thing. I just can't put my finger on it, but you just irk me. What? That's the most childish thing I've ever heard. You can't stand me just because of an inexplicable irk? Grow up, Tiana. I thought I offended you or something, but I didn't do anything wrong, right? Well, not necessarily, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how I feel about you. And I feel that you're annoying and I just can't stand being around you. If that's the case, then why did you say yes to coming with us on this trip? Because it was a free trip to Spain. No one is going to turn down that opportunity. But as the days went by, I grew more and more tired of your antics. What antics, Tiana? What did I do that was so bad that you decided to leave me all alone in a foreign country? She was failing to answer, and I was growing more impatient with this impromptu disdain that was coming out of nowhere. I was shocked, hurt, confused, and angry, but most of all, I was just sad. I had to inquire about my beloved husband and what he had to say in all of this. Let me speak to Frank. Casually and easily, Tiana passed the phone on to Frank, who I can assume was listening in on the entire conversation. He sounds just as indifferent and cold as his mother. Hello? Really, Frank, you decided to leave me too? I didn't leave you because I don't like you. I left because my mom needed me to take her home. So you knew about all of this? Well, I mean, how long have you known about your mother's apparent hatred towards me? For some time now. I was hoping this trip would bring her closer to you, but I was wrong. Okay, but what I'm failing to understand is why none of you approached me about this. We're all adults, aren't we? Meaning if there's an issue, we solve it. It's not like we haven't had arguments in the past, no. We sat down and we solved these arguments. What's different about this time? Frank was failing to answer, just like his mother moments ago. The only thing I can safely conclude about this entire stupid debacle is that your mother hates me for a silly reason, which she knows isn't valid. Maybe she's jealous of me or something. Maybe I have something that she can't have. And she knows that she can't speak up about it without sounding foolish. So she's beating around the bush as to what exactly the problem is. Am I correct in assuming that? I took their resounding silence as a big fat yes. Well, I can say that I'm honestly shocked. I didn't know that you two felt this way about me. I hope you have a safe flight back home. I cut the call. Pacing around the hotel room, still trying to wrap my head around what exactly the issue was, I began to sob, wondering if what I did to deserve this treatment. But 37 years on this planet has taught me that sometimes people will hate on you for seemingly no good reason. They're jealous or bitter because they see you at peace with yourself, and that makes them enraged because they are struggling with their self-worth. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced this, but if I'm being honest, the last people I expected this behavior from were my own family. After sobbing for some time, I had an epiphany. Let me take you back to that fateful moment when I decided to take control of my destiny and seek vengeance against these two who had wronged me for no good reason. It was a pivotal moment that would forever change the course of my life. As I wiped away my tears, a newfound determination welled up within me. I refused to waste any more of my precious emotions on their pathetic actions. No, it was time to show them that they could not trample over my heart and get away with it. With my trembling fingers, I dialed the number of my childhood friend, Arlo. We had been through thick and thin together, and I knew I could trust him with my darkest secrets. After pouring out my heart to him and explaining the painful betrayal I had experienced in Spain, I cautiously asked if he could assist me in my quest for justice. Arlo, always the loyal and mischievous friend, listened intently, his voice filled with a mix of concern and excitement, reassuring me that he had my back. Felicity, my dear friend, you're a force to be reckoned with. And you know you can count on me for anything and everything, so what are you planning on doing? Well, Arlo, you know how your construction company always has excess sawdust? Yes, it can be quite a hassle to get rid of sometimes. Well, I think I finally have the perfect use for it. His curiosity was piqued, and my plan tumbled out like a carefully created script, describing how we would orchestrate the ultimate act of retaliation. My plan involved delivering bags of sawdust to Tiana's house, infiltrating every corner and crevice, and leaving an indelible mark of chaos and betrayal. Arlo couldn't help but smile at the brilliance of my idea. It was a subtle yet impactful way to remind Tiana of the stress she had just now unleashed upon my life. Armed with Arlo's expertise and my newfound determination, we set our plan into motion. But how will we get inside the house before they arrive back home? You need to get the spare key hidden under the potted plant that's on the patio. Then you'll be in. Wow, you thought of everything, huh? I'm not the one to be played with. I think I'm a reasonable woman, but if they want to go lower and act childish, then I'll go even lower. Atta girl. As the hours ticked by, anticipation swirled within me. Arlo had assured me that the mission was complete, and soon I would waitress the fallout of our carefully orchestrated chaos. And then, like a sweet melody in my ear, my phone chimed, indicating a message from Arlo. I eagerly opened the pictures he had sent, and there it was, a sight to behold. Tiana's once pristine home now resembled a post-apocalyptic wasteland, drowned in a sea of sawdust. Every nook and cranny had been touched by our mischievous hands. It was a scene straight out of a surrealistic painting, an embodiment of the chaos that had unfolded in our lives. I called Arlo, and his laughter echoed through the phone, and I couldn't help but join in. It was a cathartic release, a shared moment of triumph against those who had betrayed me. I expressed my heartfelt gratitude to Arlo, acknowledging his willingness to tread the path of mischief with me. He simply said, "Naughty can be so satisfying, my friend." As the clock ticked away, I could feel the tension building within me. How would Frank and Tiana react when they walked through the doors of their once beloved home? The anticipation was almost unbearable. A heady mix of nevers and vindication, I couldn't help but relish in the thought of their bewildered faces and disarrayed emotions. Hours later, my phone erupted with frantic energy. It was Frank, his voice laced with panic and disbelief. He described the scene that awaited them, the sawdust-covered house that stood as a testament to their betrayal. My heart danced with wicked delight as I listened to his exasperated voice. At that moment, I knew that the message had been received loud and clear. Their actions had consequences, and the chaos they had sown had come back to haunt them. Frank's panicked words were like sweet music to my ears, a validation of the power I had reclaimed. "Oh, Felicity, it's just awful. Mom is in hysterics." I decided to reveal the part that I had played in this and said, "It serves both of you right. How could you leave me here alone, without a valid reason, no less?" "Wait, Felicity, was this your doing?" The wailing and panic I heard in the background stopped, and instead, I approached Frank's phone. I heard my mother-in-law say, "Give me that," before shouting in my ear, "You do this? How could you do this to us? To me?" "I have no idea what you're talking about. Have you considered that this is just your karma? Oh, come on, Felicity, we all know it was you. Who else would have access to my home? It's very easy to break in and enter someone's home nowadays. Tiana, especially if you don't have any security cameras installed, which, by the way, should seriously consider doing to prevent things like this from happening again. Honestly, Felicity, how can you do this to us? Where are we supposed to sleep? This sawdust is making my lungs ache. Oh, that's right. You probably forgot to get the keys to my nose house, huh? Well, that's a shame. I'm guessing you two are going to have to stay in yet another hotel. But for how long? Until I decide to come back from my vacation. I paid for 2 weeks after all. And who knows, I might feel greedy and decide to extend my stay. Frank then took the phone from Tiana, and she began to bawl once again, mourning her ruined furniture. Felicity, this was foul. How could you do this? I don't know why you're assuming that I had anything to do with this. How could I? I'm currently relaxing in the hotel jacuzzi. How could I have done this? I held back my laughter as the second of them were clearly confused as to what had happened. Even though they suspected I had something to do with it, which I obviously did. But they didn't have any solid proof, so I was basking in all the glory of knowing that they were frustrated, but they had nowhere to direct their anger. As I bid Frank farewell on the phone, a sense of contentment washed over me. I had taken control of my narrative, leaving them to grapple with the consequences of their actions. I know what I did was quite foul, and even quite dangerous considering how old Tiana is. Spending even a night in that house could lead to serious health consequences. But I knew that they wouldn't dare dream of staying there. It was too sabotaged to be habitable. They just had to rely on staying in a hotel for a little bit longer because I didn't want my money to go to waste. I stayed that extra week in Spain, enjoying the culture as I intended, whilst my husband and my mother-in-law were undoubtedly worried, trying to find a cleaning company that would take on such a daunting task. I didn't know how long it would take to get the house professionally cleaned, but I knew that in the meantime, my mother-in-law would have to stay with us in my home. And I know that she would just be irritated the whole time since she apparently can't stand my company. This should serve as a reminder to some of you all that some people need to learn the hard way. And if it just so happens that you can dish out your own justice, then by all means go ahead and do it and really give people something to be mad about.